All right, this is Stephanie Washer, and I'm going to go through Word Module 1-6. So it's a whole section. There's quite a few things on formatting characters and paragraphs and just different types of formatting. And one of the items that they have in here is to do the paragraph so that it'll show the different marking and the markups. So when as I've shown before, the bigger bar gives you everything to make it full screen. But I have mine on a smaller screen, and so if you're looking at this on a smaller screen, I'm going to kind of show you. So paragraph, and then this P here. And you can see it's got the paragraph markings and the little dots in between. I'm just not a fan of it, so I usually turn it off, but I'll leave it and show you as we talk through this. So we're going to go from what I have here into the formatting of the document. And so I'm going to have it on the Office 365 that I have installed on my Windows 10 desktop. And then I'm going to show you Office 365 online. It's terrible. I'm just going to warn you, it is not good. So in fact, I'm going to show you a couple things, show you how bad it is, and then I'm going to go and just use this totally. All right, so first thing is to do, the font size. So we've got font here. You can highlight different items, how we've been highlighting. So if we highlight something, we can go to font, and then we can change whatever the font is. And right now, well, the default font is Calibri 11 point. So you can see that that is the default. No underline, no bold, no italic. That's all the defaults. Paragraph, I'm going to turn off that paragraph formatting. So we have no shading. It's just, basic text right now. And we can change the font, paragraph styles, and then there's different editing things that we can go through as well. So a single font or a single point is 1/72 of 1 inch in height. So this one is 11/72, or like a 1/6 of an inch in height. So that's just how they figure out a point on with the fonts. So 11 point font is a fraction of the total of 72. Then we have different themes for the documents. We can change different things like that. I am going to go through all of the themes, changing the font characters, changing paragraph alignment, highlighting key paragraphs and bullets, and emphasizing important words, using color. So I'm going to go through all of that. So I'm not going to do too much with this. The thing about changing the document theme, and that's on a different ribbon. So we've got design is where you'll see the themes. And I had to do this for a couple people because I was having issues finding the theme because I had it and so you can just type in theme and it will pop up and you can see the theme colors. Right now it's Office, it's off the bat. And then the theme, the default is Office too. So some of you might have gotten extra points just because the default was Office. The thing is with Office 365 Online, if you try and find theme, it does not have the themes. It's got styles. You can create different, apply styles, look at the different styles, but that is not the same as a theme. So this one is not going to be good, and I'm going to show you a couple other things where there's not the options that you have in the version that you download. And you'll have to go to like a library, or if you don't have a computer that you can download this to, say you're using a Chromebook, you really probably need to find a laptop or something that you can download Office 365 onto. There's difference between sans serif fonts and serif fonts. So you've got Calibri that are sans serif, so they don't have little decorative lines in the upper and lower end. So this one versus, let's do Callisto. Take me a second here. I'm just going to do the one that so you can see, well, let me make it bigger. So you can see this one doesn't have the fancy decorative lines at the ends of the characters, but this one does. So you can kind of see where it's, you know, it's got the, like Times New Roman is a serif font, so there's a difference between this one and that one, right? And that's just the sans serif. It's a little fancier. The serif fonts are fancier. Sans serif is without, right? So some organizations have a preference for font type. I worked for a garden center and we had to use Verdana all the time. I think it was Verdana. And so I thought it was Valdani, but I think it was Verdana. So there's certain ones that you might have to use for different items. It was all marketing, formatting. We had to keep everything in the same theme for the garden center. All right, so we're going to want to go to the top. And so you can press Control plus Home to get yourself to the top. And then we're going to go to Themes. So I have to go to the Design ribbon and then click on Themes. And we want Office. Oh, do we want Office? Let's see. So we get a live preview. It'll change. You can see it changing as you move over it, right? So Main Event is pretty big change. And I think the one they want us to do is Gallery. Click Gallery in the Themes Gallery. So you can see it changed a little bit. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. I'm gonna show how to do that later. And then centering a paragraph. So we changed this. Oh, the other thing I want to show you with a theme is here are the colors of the theme. So we've got the themes here. And then we've got the colors. This is one of the items that you're going to do in the flyer. So I just want to make sure. I think you change it. You change the theme to Office, and then you change the color to red. So, and you can, it's not really doing, yeah, you can see at the bottom where I had it underlined, it's changing the colors. So it's hard to tell when we only have one thing that we're working on. So, all right, let's go back up to the top here. We're going to take Wash Your Hands and we're going to do centering. And really, I'm going to go back home because that's the easiest. The other thing you can do is you can right click. I think I showed you that earlier. So you can right click and we can use that bar as well, or those little menus as well. And we're just going to center this. And so when I'm doing a lot of formatting, I usually have this bigger and then I can just click center. So, and it'll automatically center. And then if you have two lines and you click center, you can have it highlighted. I'm going to hit undo and click off of it. But if I just click on the line, it centers everything. So you don't have to, when you have a paragraph, it'll center the paragraph. So that's what the paragraph, this is all about. So it'll do your entire paragraph for you. And so that makes it nice and easy. You don't have to highlight it. Sometimes I just highlight it just because, you know, I'm so used to highlighting everything. So we can go through paragraph, we can right click, choose center, or do Control plus E is center as well. So there's many ways to do everything in here. And so I showed you the center of the paragraph. Formatting single versus multiple paragraphs and characters. So there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do to format multiple items. So we'll show you that, and I'm going to show you how to select a line. You just click on the side. So you're going to notice that your cursor is going to change, but if you click on in the margins, on the line that you want to highlight it, it will automatically highlight it. And I didn't even right click. It started and it gave me a menu. So that was kind of nice. So that mini toolbar appears whenever you select anything. And then what else do I want to show you? I think it's going to go through each. So the other thing is if you double click on something, it'll highlight it. If you hold Control and then double click. So I'm holding down Control while I'm doing this, and it's only got these things highlighted. You can hold down Shift, and wherever your cursor is, you can. So here's the beginning, and I'm going to just click over here. It highlights everything in between the first spot you clicked and the last spot you clicked. So that's holding Shift down. There's a couple things. I think we kind of went over this in some other things, but I wanted to bring it back again. All right, so we really need Wash Your Hands highlighted. And we're going to change. We're going to go to the font here. Actually, I'm going to right click. And right now it's Gill Sans font. And we're going to change it to a different size. Right now the default is 12. We are going to make it bigger. And we're going to make it 36-point font. About half an inch tall, right? So we're going to make it 36-point font. And that is all we're doing for right now. I don't think we changed the font itself. There's also, see this font size arrow? There's increase, it'll go up one, down one. So when you click on it here, it's just going up and down based on this. So when we go up one, notice it went up to 48. If you go down one, it went back to 36, and it'll even go down to then 28. So I'm just going to go back to 36. So there's that. And we're going to change, now we're going to change the font itself. I don't know why we can't just do this all on one page, but I guess it's nice that we're going to change that as well. So font, and we're going to go down to Rockwell Extra Bold. I've already gone through this, but Rockwell Extra Bold. So I just clicked on it. If you don't see it in your recently used fonts, I just type in Rock. Oops. And since I've already used it, it just really. And it's all in alphabetical order, and then it's got them all listed. So we've got just basic Rockwell Extra Bold. There's so many different fonts. You can add fonts to this. It's great. And so now we can change the case of the font. Let's go back to fonts. That's what this A is. So you can click on it, and so we can do uppercase. We can do capitalize each word. We can do, which it already was, we can do all lowercase. We can do sentence case. We can do toggle case. But really we want uppercase. I think we want it all in uppercase. The other one I like, if you, I'm going to right click and go to font because I don't see it in the shortcut. But the other one I like is small caps. And that doesn't really, hold on. That didn't do what I wanted. So small caps, I think it's because I made it all caps then small caps. But what small caps does is, yeah, I'll show you real quick here. It makes everything capitalized, but it will have the lowercase letters capitalized, but in a smaller font. But I'm going to change it back. All right. So, and then we're going to keep this highlighted, and we're going to do a text effect. So we are going to go to font still. And see this A that's kind of glowing, that's the text effects. And what we're going to use is, we want to use, I think it's one of these. Fill white, outline red, accent color 1. That's what we want. So we want that one, and we're going to do some other sort of text effect. We're going to shade it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to right click and we're going to do some shading. So if we go to paragraph now, we've got our shading here, and we can choose many different colors. We're going to do purple, accent 4, darker 25%. That's lavender. Purple, accent 4, darker 25%. So when you move your mouse cursor over the options, it changes and you can read it. But you got to hold long enough to let it be. So this is purple, accent 4, darker 25%. You can always go back and change it if you need to. And then Control Z, let me click in here. Control Z is undo, but you can always redo it. So if you can undo, redo up here. So Control Z or Control R, undo, and then redo. And you can only redo so many times. So you can see that we can only redo, we got the text effect. So see, you can go backwards. It's got a whole history. And so now that I've kind of cleared it out too much, I got to go back in, choose my little paint. But what happens is, the great part is, so I actually have to choose my text effect, and then I have to go into paragraph and choose my paint. But because I just chose that paint style, it's still there. So that one is still up. It kind of leaves the last one you used, which is kind of nice when you go through and you want to have a whole bunch of different ones with the same theme. It's nice to have that highlighted. So undo, redo only works so often, so much. You can only redo so much. If you're using a touch screen for this, I feel that the touchpad's better, or the mouse is easier to use. So you just want to, be careful. If you're used to a touch screen and you know how to highlight stuff, then go for it. But I really find that some of these, when you're doing this a lot, the mouse is just easier. Because sometimes those touch screens, they glitch a little bit. Even on the laptops. I mean, it's nice to have them. But just for things like, it's really nice when you're surfing the web. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the font color of selected text. So the text underneath, the washing your hands, I'm going to highlight those two. And then I'm going to change the font color. So when you go to font, and then this A here is font color. If you're not sure, just hover over it long enough and it'll pop up, or you right click on it and it's right there as well. So we want indigo. So this is purple. Indigo is blue. And then we want indigo accent 5. Looks like 25%. So it'll be on the darker side. And so we did that. And we're going to change the font size of this text. It's so easy to select it that I always just click off of it. So now we're going to make it 22. So we're going to go back. I like to do the right click and do 22. I believe that's what we want. We're going to change the zoom percentage. All right, so to change the zoom percentage, we can go to View. We go Zoom, and we can do 100%, which is this page. But we're going to zoom. I'm going to click on zoom here, and then I'm going to type in 120, because I believe, let's see what that looks like. 120 just is a little, it's like fills the whole entire screen for here. I actually like to click on zoom and then choose what I want, but then I can go back and I can click 100%. So this zoom here only is for you to see. It's not how it's going to be printed. So just know that. So we've got the hyperlink here that changed color. Down here is also a zoom button. And so we can do the plus or minus or whatever. And you can see if I hit plus twice, that's 120. So I showed you a couple different ways for zooming. And then you can see we've got 24 of 120. So if we have it highlighted, whatever you have highlighted, it will say how many words are in that highlight. But we've got 124 words total. And notice when I clicked off of it, it went away. We're going to select multiple lines. So we're going to select all of these lines here. We're not going to select the view food workers. But, so you just click and drag. That's all, just to select it. It's very easy. Then we're going to change the font size of the selected text. So we've still got it all selected. What font size are we going to use? 20 it looks like. So we're going to change it to 20. I'm going to have to go back to the home ribbon, go to font, change it to 20. And then I'm going to go to the next page. So all that text scrolled off the screen is still there. And it's still on one page. So far we've got page 101. And then we're going to number items. So we're going to use a numbered list. And what we're going to do is I'm not going to have everything highlighted. I'm just going to highlight what I want numbered. And then I'm going to go to paragraph. And then we've got bullets, or we've got numbering, but we want to number it. So I'm going to do numbering because this is kind of steps. That makes sense, right? So it's numbering. If you don't want it numbered, you just undo. The other thing you can do is if you accidentally click bullet, you can click on number and it'll go straight to it. So, and then it looks like we're going to, for when, we're going to make this one bullets. And you can do undo, redo. So we're making the when the bullets. I just went through a whole bunch of these. And bullets are super nice. So the other thing about bullets, if we go here and you do the arrow next to it, there's a whole library of bullets that you can add. We can have checks. We can have the open boxes. There's so many different things. You can use whatever you want. We can say none. It'll tell you what you've used in the past. We can change the different levels, and we can actually define a new bullet. I'm just going to use regular bullet. So, and then numbering's the same way. So if I highlight, I'm just highlighting it just because it'll show you all of them. And then you can choose Roman numerals. The other thing is your list level. You can have it go from numbering to bullets, or from numbering to, you know, like you start out with 1, 2, 3, and then it'll go A, B, all of that good stuff. So you can have that set up however you want. All right. And then auto format, you can have things auto format as you type. So the becomes, if you mistype, sometimes I type in T-E-H and it would automatically change it to the. And so there's a whole list of them. If you click plus, you know, I find it so annoying with these pictures, but it gives you all of them. And if some of you have noticed, when you click on the picture, it boots you out of the book. So instead, I just choose to do the back button to go back. There wasn't, I had no luck any other way other than going back and then using the back button. Just so you know, that's one of my tips for this book. Because otherwise, if you click close, it closes you out of the whole book. So it's one of the things with that. I'm going to find other ways eventually. And then removing a hyperlink. This is part of the assignment as well. I mean, bullets and some of these other things are all part of the assignment, but one of the items that I noticed that people are either forgetting or not doing is removing the hyperlink. So you can right click on the link. You don't even have to have it highlighted. And there's edit, open, copy, and remove. And if you click on remove, it gets rid of that hyperlink. But if I go back in, and if you're like, oh, I didn't want to remove it, if you just hit space, it puts it right back in there. And so I'm going to remove it again. But just so you know. You can always do undo too if you figure it out. Sometimes when I figure out I did something wrong, undo is like too far away. So I've done a couple of things that I'm like, I don't want to undo because I did a few things correctly and I don't want to mess it up, right? So that's an easy way to add it back in there. Now we're going to center this paragraph. So I'm just going to go to center that. So it's just paragraph center. And I've used this mini toolbar multiple times to change things. So what do we want to do in this one? So we're going to go to the signature line. So we are to the left side of the signature line. Let's highlight it. And then we are going to change it to 18-point font, it looks like. And then we're going to change it to a color. I'm guessing it's going to be the same color as above. Indigo accent, yes. So if it's the same color as above, you can just hit the font color. And if you want to go double check it, it highlights the font color that it is, and you can look and see, oh yeah, it's indigo, accent 5, darker 25%, and that is what the book says. So it makes it nice and easy for that. So I just clicked off the text, and now I'm just going to select a group of words. So additional hand washing tips. So we can highlight additional hand washing tips. If we wanted to select that, if we want to underline the text, I usually just do Control U because I'm so used to Control U. But when you right click, you've got all your options. You've got bold, italic, underline, and I just took my underline off. So I'm going to leave the underline on. So Control U is underline, Control B is bold, Control I is italic. And it's a toggle, so it's on off. So if you hit it again, which I just did for italic and bold, it takes it right off. I like all of that stuff. This is on my Windows computer, just so you know. Italicize text, I just showed you how to italicize. We can do that with prevent, Control I. You can use that mini toolbar that pops up. If you want to select, I'm going to get rid of that so it doesn't look weird. So if we want to select non-adjacent text, again, you can do highlight, you can hold Control and double click wet, lather, scrub, rinse, and dry. And then we're going to bold it, so I'm going to just hit Control B. And then the other option for bold is, you know, going up to font or right clicking and hitting B for bold. But I like Control B, works real quick. So if you don't want to take your hands off the keyboard, you can do that. Back when I was, you know, working as an administrative assistant, this is many, many years ago, I used to not take my keys off the keyboard, and it was actually really nice. So here's all the different types of selecting text. So I showed you how to use Control and then select so I'm here at the C in clean, that's where my cursor is, and then if I hit Shift and then I'm going to go to towel, it will highlight everything in between. So if you wanted like after the first 3 highlighted, you can just hold down Shift, click on the A and after, and then go down to the end and restroom. So you can highlight all those. So that's Shift or Control. So Shift is everything in between, Control is picky choosy. And Control, you can like, oops. You can highlight, it wants to highlight this whole thing for me. And then, so you gotta highlight whatever, Control, highlight whatever, and then you have to hold Control down, otherwise it's not gonna work. So you can be picky choosy with it. And then, so there's many different ways, many different things you can do. Control A is one I use all the time. It's Control A, Control C. So I do Control A to copy all, highlight everything, and then Control C is to copy, and then I'm going to C, and I'm going to do Control A, and I'm copying it right over the top of this one. Yeah, look, and look at how you can't even see my effects. So you have to know that these effects don't work in Office 365. That's a good example of Office 365 Online not having everything you need. So you would end up going back to change. I probably would do this, is use the format. So when you click on an item, so I know I want this centered. I kind of know I want this blue, possibly, now that I can't use that. And so I'm going to use this as a starting point. And this format painter, you just click on the format painter in the one that you want to copy, and then you click on the one that you want it to be. So it's real nice and easy. I can do undo and show you again what that. So this is what I want to copy. I'm going to click anywhere in there, and then I'm going to highlight the title, and it makes the title exactly the same. And so I'm actually going to change this to 36 though, because it was 36, and then it was also Rockwell Extra Bold, and I'm going to make it, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it that way. I probably should make it pink or something, or red. Red probably would be a good one. Let's try that. That's really bold. So it doesn't have the same text effects. It's not the greatest. And I don't even think you can, we get a different menu. Yeah, you can't even use the paint. Yeah, I mean, I don't recommend that at all. So I'm just showing you the difference and that I do not recommend this. And if you want to save this to a different name, you do File, Save a Copy. So File, Save a Copy, and then you can save it to your OneDrive, or you can save it anywhere that you want. And so I'm just going to do 16AE. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to do a space though. All right, and then I'm going to hit save, and it's saving in my documents. Auto save it. Yep. I'm going to let it do my auto save. So that's it. That is, now we're going to be on to 1.7, but that is going to be a totally different video. So that is all 1.6 formatting. It was a lot. And look for the next video on 1.7.